action, networking, taking it above, bringing value to the conversations that you're having.
As we climb in our journey and we learn, to share that learning with others so that we grow as a community.
Inclusion plays a part in terms of now garnering all those experiences together and creating a cohesive enough team to produce strong performance.
Be visible, comment about it, reach out. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing today? I hope that you are just as excited about today as I am, because today is about the international students. Yes, today's seminar, today's segment is very, very special to me for many reasons. But before I bring the panelists on live and introduce them all to you, I wanted to talk a little bit about where this all began. You see, about a decade ago, I was headhunted into a newcomers bridging program at Humber College. Arvind Singh gave me this amazing opportunity. There's a little bit of funding left, and he asked me if I could work the cohort, and I did. I was the career faculty and the job developer for that particular batch. Well, it so happened that we had 100% employed outcome before graduation. So I was getting a little bored. So Ravinda said, well, you have some time if you want to volunteer, some time to help the international students. That's really when the journey began. I started volunteering my time, helping international students get employed. And, and when I started teaching them, I was under the impression, like most of you, that international students have a lot of money and they come to Canada and they can afford the education over here. Well, when I started seeing them sleeping on the benches, school benches, when I started hearing about certain stories, I had to sit down with one of them and ask them, what really is going on? I thought international students had a lot of money. Well, that's when the truth came out, that about the loans that they had to take to come to Canada, about all of the struggles that they had to go through by not even having enough to manage 2 meals a day. Well, things started changing for me. And then I started looking into the different resources that I could help the students, with employment. And I was shocked to find out that there were no government-funded programs except for the mentoring program that served international students or helped them with their employment needs. Well, that's when the journey began. I volunteered my time for the first 5 years and helped as many international students as possible get their dream jobs. And they did get started. And our employment records, our grad employment records, rose up to 95%. Well, when that started happening, I thought I wanted to branch out. And that's really when the journey of Destination CEO started. I had members, I had my grads that joined me, gave me ideas, gave me inspiration, and not just gave me inspiration, but actually stepped up with me, and we founded Destination CEO. And today, I am so proud to say that the panelists that you're going to meet, the international students and grads that you're going to meet today, when you're going to meet with the first student that I placed from Humber College, the international students, and one of my first co-founders that helped me start Destination CEO and has always been a part of Destination CEO and growing. So without further ado, let me bring them all, let them start talking and sharing all the amazing things. And yes, let's not forget, Arvind is also on the panel, and he just graduated, and he'll be showcasing the amazing talent that he has and what he brings to the table. So without further ado, hello, Ayo. Hi, Arvind. Hello,
Hi, Meena.
Rohan.
Hey, Meena.
How are you guys doing? Hi,
Great,
Ben.
Hey.
Hi,
Hi,
Jayashree.
guys.
How are you?
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Awesome. I'm so excited about today because, as you guys heard, this is my passion project. This is something that I sleep, dream, and breathe. Destination CEO, and to see the success and to help international students get hired in their dream jobs without the struggle. So why don't we first start with Pavan? Pavan was my um, first placement from Humber College with international students. We've had a long history, graduated in 2012, and I would say he's the senior most member of this entire team. So, Pavan, welcome to Destination CEO.
Thanks, Meena.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How's everyone doing today?
Fantastic. Pavan, thank you. I know you are having a very busy day today, but thank you for coming here, sharing your story, and let's talk about you. Let's talk about a little bit of your international student journey, how you got started, what were some of the barriers you faced, and where are you now?
Oh, thank you. Absolutely. So, hey, everyone, and thank you, Meena, for allowing me to share my journey and experience with others. I currently work at Northchurch General Hospital as a data warehouse, ETL, and business intelligence developer. I am passionate about developing solutions that lead to better clinical outcomes for patients, and I also help clinicians in optimizing their practices and workflows so that they can get meaningful insights from the data and help patients in the long run. So it all started when I decided to come to Canada in 2010. So I started doing a program at Humber College. It was a postgraduate certificate in information technology solutions. It was an amazing experience, full of ups and downs, but I learned a lot being away from the family on the other side of the world. Managing a full course load along with a part-time job was often stressful, but what kept me focused was the bigger picture. I had set some goals and milestones for myself, and I could hold myself accountable to those goals, and that's what kept me focused. I met Meena in 2012. At that time, I had just graduated and I was applying to a lot of different positions, but I wasn't getting any results. So thank you, Meena, for being an amazing mentor for all these years. She coached me, taught me how to highlight my skills, focus on my strengths. And a lot of newcomers and new graduates, they hold themselves back by thinking that they do not have the Canadian work experience. But I would like to tell all of you that with proper training and proper coaching, you can highlight your skills, you can focus on your strength and highlight your transferable skills and go for your dream roles. Another advice that I would like to share with international students and new graduates is to look around you to see what motivates you. A turning point in my journey was when I was studying at Humber. I got really sick, and I had to go to the hospital multiple times for a span of like over 6 months. And during those times, while I was sick, I was really amazed by the Canadian healthcare system, and I was really fascinated by the fact that a single organization can positively make a difference in the lives of so many individuals. And during all those visits, I always used to think, how can I use my IT skills to contribute, to do something positive and contribute to the healthcare system? And that's when it inspired me to start focusing on building my career in the healthcare industry. And thanks to me now, I was able to land a position in the healthcare industry. So thank you so much. So if I look back, at where I was when I started and where I am today, it has been an amazing experience. And I want to thank you and all the other mentors for the continued guidance that you have provided me. And a message that I want to give to other international students and new graduates is to keep an open mind, always believe in your skills. You are so talented, you're so amazing, you are so brave you to even start this journey. So keep the focus, look at the big picture, keep learning, stay hungry, and you will get your dream role. Ask for help. There's so many amazing mentors around you who are willing to help, who were in your shoes at one point in their life. And all of us want to help you. We want you to be successful so that you can come back and share your stories and help other students. And we can continue growing our Destination CEO family. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Pavan. And that's really what you did, right? You graduated, you were not well, and you couldn't focus on your job search. And usually international students, specifically the last 2 weeks or the last month of their schooling, they're too busy with their projects and their exams. And I know Arvind just went through that, but you don't have time to focus on your job search. So you reached out to the college, you reached out to your coordinator, and that's how they connected. And that's a key thing that I'd like to point out, that if you don't know where to start with your college, start with your coordinators, because the coordinators receive a lot of job postings during the time you're in school or when you graduate. And this way, if you reach out to them and you tell them about your interests, they'll definitely keep you in mind and be able to share with you the positions, or refer you to somebody.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Ask for help. Sometimes we put unnecessary pressure on ourselves. We are too scared to ask for help, or sometimes we don't know who to ask. But take the first step. You have to take the initiative to ask for help. Look for a mentor, and you can get so much information. You can get so much guidance that can help you build your career.
So along with helping students from Humber College, Pavan also volunteers his time to help participants of Destination CEO and mentors them and guides them into numerous tech roles. So thank you, Pavan. Moving on, I'd like to introduce Benjamin Nagarajan. Now, Ben and I are really close, not just because he was one of the backbenchers, but also because he and I connected with Hart, and we started Destination CEO. He's one of the inspirations. When I still remember, I was really distraught after hearing all of these sad stories of the international students. And Benjamin was a graduate of 2013, right after Pawan's batch. So Ben saw that passion, and he told me, one day you and I'll help you with something. We can do something together for international students. And he said that, and he came through with his promise. So Ben, welcome. Thank you for being the inspiration, being one of the core members of Destination CEO. I would like to give you the platform to tell a little bit about yourselves and your journey. You've had a rocky start, but before you came to Canada, you were really well off. You were doing some amazing stuff. So I'd love the audience to know what you did before you came to Canada, and how did your journey start here?
Okay, well, thank you for your kind words, Amina. It's certainly been a good trip with Destination CEO over the years. It's been nice. It feels nice to help other people. So I think part of the journey has been the rewards has been along those lines, and I guess it's something that time kind of shows you. To answer your question and then kind of segue into what I did when I got here. I was studying my electrical and electronics engineering out in Dubai. And basically I was also doing some laser engineering work. I would install and operate lasers at nightclubs, which was a fun job. And I was doing a bunch of things as well. Usually it takes about 3 to 5 years for any person to settle into a city. So I was reaching that 4 to 5 year mark when I was out in Dubai. You set up your friend circles, you set up pretty much everything, right? Like right down to your bills, that you have to pay everything, right? Managing your credit, getting it on the city. And then so it is a little bit of a task to kind of erase everything and start again. And that wasn't the first time I've done that. And people like myself who've traveled and have families who traveled, we have to keep erasing and starting again. Of course, you learn things along the way as to what to do well and what not to do, so that you could save yourself some time. Coming into Canada too, it's one of the more friendlier systems in the world compared to, say, I don't know, certain parts of Europe and like even Southeast Asia. It is a lot friendlier. The system's a lot friendlier, is what I mean. And the education system in particular, if you're coming in as a student, it worked. It was pretty nice. Like Humber College, especially Humber College, and a few others too. Like I don't want to leave Centennial, Conestoga, a bunch of them are pretty friendly. There are some the only hostility or the intimidative aspects of these colleges would be more along the lines of the workload. Like the courses might be large. I know with IT solutions, we had like 25 courses. So if you want to kind of do well in all of them, you basically have to commit most of your week out of class to kind of get yourself in the game. Also, a lot of what colleges kind of provide it is very close to what you'd be using in the real world, whether it's a skill set or tools or even just English skills, whatever skills they give you, it's very close to real world applications. So that was kind of very important. So it kind of receives you is all I'm saying. You have some resources like the International Center. So starting up and getting your situation, like for me, it was not too hard. The rockiness that you mentioned was more along the lines of, I guess, settling in the longer term and trying to find out how to get jobs and so forth. Simply put, for example, you were kind enough to kind of put my project up as part of a showcase out in December prior to graduation, but not, it wasn't, it was literally my first year. So there was literally like 3 more semesters that I needed to do beyond that point, a year and a half of courses. So the thing is, like during that showcase, I got at least 3 people show up and be like, "Hey, give me a call. We like what you're doing with your projects." And I kind of built a project called Metar, which is just some kind of communication mechanism between weather stations, which are designated weather stations for airports and for the Navy and stuff. So you have to kind of decrypt basically the information and provide it to pilots and professionals basically in the industry. So we want to do this via an app. So nothing like this exists right now apart from like the standard approach, a standard proprietary software. So it was nice. It was fun to work with some of the airport officials that I got in touch with. Again, reaching out and stuff kind of helped with that. But that led me to the particular job offers, sort of pseudo job offers, let's just say, because I needed to have kind of followed up on that, and then they would have offered me positions. I mean, it was pretty much there because they were looking for developers and things. They did like the detail or the architecture of the product that was being built. And that kind of led to another problem. Do I finish my program or do I take the job and then, kind of find a way to just continue working and then stick around? I chose, basically, I chose the former. I continued my education, but along with that promise of my own promise towards education, finishing education, came with the task of finding a job in the future. And so times change. Times have been different over the years, but compared to now, I mean, it was not so bad, although everyone graduated at the same time. So in summer, if you're going for an interview, the chances are at least 5 to 10 people have either already done the interview or they've been lined up for the interview after you. So you really have to make the mark. You have to get all of your technical information sorted out and on point. And especially after you go through very rigorous program, it's usually very hard. Like for me, it was hard to kind of get myself still up to date, but not up to date with what the college's curriculum was at the time. It was to get yourself up to date to the technologies. There might be few things because at the rate at which IT advances, it's kind of crazy where you could just be left out you could leave yourself out of the industry for a year and you could go back in and not recognize a lot of what's going on because so many assistive processes, platforms, technology show up out of nowhere. So even that within one summer, within like 3 months, one is required to kind of get yourself abreast of what is going on and learn things and kind of put yourself out there. So that was hard. That whole process was fairly hard. Mina did recommend a few people, and it really helped with the interviews. I did some fun interviews where I wasn't really looking to work there, but I did them anyway for practice. Of course, I didn't want to waste anyone's time, so I mean, generally from the get-go, it was kind of understood that I was there to seek a job because because everyone is at any point in your life, like unless, and the thing is, it's that, right? Like, I think we get mixed up half the time. You do need to keep yourself busy, no matter how much of luxury you might have lying around it. You do need to keep yourself busy, is what I believe. So, that being said, you could keep yourself busy with a vocation, or an occupation, or both. Ideally, the goal is to merge both of those, but at any point in time, sometimes like as students, when you go to a new country and stuff, you really do care about the occupation primarily, just to get yourself, especially if you don't have a lot of family and friends, which in my case, initially when I got here, I had to face that. So you kind of really do rely on securing that occupation. You can't afford to miss that opportunity, whatever that opportunity shows up. And yeah, so that helped me get my first position at applied systems. By that, I'm directly referring to Mina's kind of the process that we've been discussing, the process that is Destination CEO. Anything under the umbrella of job development is very important, not just to temporarily get you in the program or into the door of your workplace, but also to keep you there and make you continue. But it appears Mina has dropped. Oh, there she is back. Yeah, so it's just that. So that kind of led me there. After a couple of years, I kind of segued into more deeper aspects of programming, and then realized I don't really want to get into too much technicality. I like design more. So in the recent years, the past 3 to 4 years, I've been doing SCADA development for a different company, Brock Solutions, and we design solutions for airports, primarily like the SCADA and the control room that runs the airport. We just finished Toronto Pearson International. There's a Baggage 2025, a $5 billion project where they're remodeling Terminal 1 and Terminal 3, out of which a chunk of it is a $200 million job, is roughly around that. These are not the actual figures, but roughly around there is what our company picked up to work on. So one of the main components is building a SCADA, but it's pretty interesting. Like many of these airports, even right now, you won't believe, like we're currently helping finishing up a project for New York City, JFK International, and we'll be doing more airports as the years, like, even though the airline and the airport industry. So something to take away from, though there are a lot of industries hit by the whole COVID crisis, many of them still do have a lot of jobs and bookings because they book out for a year or 2 years. It depends on the sector, but they do book further out, and so they have bookings. It's just that everyone would like to work with limited staff, or throwaway staff, or any of the like. But anyway, so it's just that with regards to my current space, like where I work in, these are some of the details. And I kind of didn't highlight anything along the way, but I hope you took away some of the points in terms of learning it. I think it's important, and I tell people to, like, if you kind of talk to someone, it's very important to just ask them, hey, what are your five biggest failures or the five biggest mistakes? Because they've obviously invested time to learn those, and learn from those, rather. Learn from those. And if you can identify and pull that away, like even with each one of our stories, if you can identify where we failed or where we spent too much time procrastinating or where we made a bad decision, then you can kind of propel yourself forward and you can be a better person for it. I'm not saying, am I saying, yeah, use other people's failures at your dispense? Not entirely, because we all help each other. So if maybe in the future you'd meet me and I might be facing the same problem in my life again, where I might be doing the same thing I've done before and it didn't work, For some strange reason, I went back in a loop, and people do that all the time. So maybe you can be the person who could remind me, hey, like remember that time when you did this and you got it right? Maybe you should think about it. I've done this so many times to even some of my friends where I remember one of my friends just off the top of my head, like out here in Canada, like over the years, like I had for a long time I had a thing about picking up projects and things and finishing them. There was a brief period of time where I couldn't bring myself to finish them due to pressures, stress, lots of things, family issues, anything, right? Like a lot of culmination of different things. So, and then it was weird because the advice he gave me at the time was like, hey man, you should try to finish things because you're the kind of person who would finish things, right? Try to focus on making sure you show up and make sure it happens. And it's funny that like 6 years later, I had the pleasure of giving him the same advice, where in that stage in his life where he was facing some problems and it kind of came back around. But anyway, I'll give the mic back to you, Mina, but thank you for your time. I hope I didn't take too much time to go over some of these details. I try to make it a lot more organic than before. So
Thank you.
well, thanks.
Thank you, Ben. Ben graduated top of his class. Ben was the genius when it came to the class. And besides being genius and besides being amazing in his technical strength, he had to overcome certain barriers to get his first job started. But once he started, there was no stopping him. So the passion that he has for growing and for continuous learning, you probably heard that in his speech. So thank you for sharing that, Ben. And from Ben, let's talk to Ayo. So Ayo, welcome on the show. And you've always been supportive of Destination CEO. You've always been supportive of the grads, and you've always taken the time out to guide them, refer them, help them. So tell us a little bit about your journey. And your journey was very interesting when you first landed in Canada. So why don't we take you back, little back, what you were doing back home, and then here, and how was your first job journey? So over to you.
Thanks, Mina. It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for inviting me. Well, I mean, I will try to say as little as I can say until we get to the aspect of the program that is more specific, and then maybe I could go into more details. I used to work in the financial industry back home, and then I just wanted something different. And so I decided that I wanted to go into IT. And I went to Humber College and graduated and started working in the IT field. And I'm recently more drawn into what Power and Deep does, which is data-centric roles.
Yes, would love to hear your journey though. How you started your first job. What was one or two barriers that you had to personally overcome? Because I remember even in school, you were a very shy person. It was you didn't believe in really marketing yourself. It took some time to get you out of that shell. So what was some of the things that you faced, and how did you overcome that? That would be great to hear.
Okay, I would like to probably correct that misconception. I'm not a shy person. I'm just reserved, maybe too reserved, but I'm not shy to express my opinion about whatever I think, especially if I think it's worth doing. A lot of times I just feel that some things are not worth doing, so I just keep quiet. It's not really because I'm shy. About my first job, I mean, thankfully I got my first job before I graduated from college. It wasn't really what I expected, but I mean, I was running out of the funds that I brought from back home. So it was a saving grace that God provided me. I'm spiritual, so I would probably mention God a couple of times. So but it was for me in the IT field. I felt blessed because not everybody was able to have that opportunity. So I did take it. Of course, it wasn't my destination, it wasn't my target, but it still kept me within the industry, such that I'm not distracted by, going into another field that I may not be interested in. And it was actually a technical support role, but it did keep me in tune with IT. As we all know, if you don't use it, you lose it. So it was an opportunity to keep using what I've learned at Umber, and keep looking for that more fitting role that I would like to be in.
I take the shy comment back. And yes, introvert. But most of the IT students that I worked with fall into the category of introvert. And, thank you. Thank you, Aya, for correcting me. Um, let's talk to Jeshri. Hello, Jeshri. How are you today? You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, yeah, I am perfectly fine. Thank you for inviting me. And yeah, how are you
Great.
doing?
Thank you for taking the time. I know this is your lunch hour that you're donating to Destination CEO, so I really appreciate it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and some of the things that you personally face? Because you got a job before graduation, and that was the goal that we had set together, I remember. So let's talk a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, yeah. So I have started as an international student. I came in 2017, and before that, I was working as a software developer back home, and I did my diploma in IT engineering after that. So pretty good. I was very well settled, but somehow I had this thing to go out of the country and do something adventurous. So I landed up over here. It was very difficult. 2 years, pretty challenging. I still have that nightmares that I have an exam and I forgot to prepare for it. so, so yeah, so yes, it was pretty challenging. Like back home, I never did any sort of work when I was studying, so it was pretty like the worst part of as an international student, I would say, is like handling your part-time job and studying, and that to like 8 subjects in a semester, 8 to 9, and you still have project to complete. That is another challenge. So you also have to outshine, and you also have to make your mark in front of your professors so that they remember you and call you as a panelist. So yeah, all these things have been really but it was an amazing journey. It is still an amazing journey. As Meena ma'am said, I got a job before I graduated, but I was a little bit confused if I can take this job as a technical support specialist because I did not face any type of customer before coming to Canada. But after coming to Canada, I have worked in Walmart and every sort of like, any, if you will say Walmart, I worked there, Pizza, Hero Burger, you name it, I worked there. So it was a bit of a challenge. But then, as Ayo said, Ben said, I did choose, like, to go for it rather than just sitting at home and looking for the dream job. And as we do not know, as I was not knowing any Canadian how Canadian job market works or something, so I wanted to at least get some job, and then let's try to focus on my dream job where I want to go. So after talking to Meena ma'am, I finally decided and took the job offer of as technical support. I've been working for more than a year now. I just got promoted to the level 2. Yeah. Yes. So it's just been like 3 days. I just got promoted. So yeah, it was a roller coaster journey, and I would say this to everyone: never lose hope. I know it's difficult. It's been difficult, always been difficult. If you go to any country, any city, or any state rather than your home country or home city, you will face these challenges. You will miss your family. You will miss the homemade food. Of course, you will. But you should always remember, like, why we are over here. Like, why you came to this place. What is your actual goal, and what is your final outcome. So my thing is like I just wanted to go out of the like my home country and to experience new things. I never met so many people in my life. If I would have just stayed in my home country doing the same, same minded job. So I took that challenge, and I would say that if I can do it, anyone can do it. So it's just that you have to have good mentors, good teachers, and good people around you. And don't miss out that um, newcomers experience, like going to any place, meeting someone. Don't feel shy. I usually come across this thing a lot, that people who come as an international students, they always hold back themselves to talking to people, asking them for help. There is no shame to ask for help. If you need help, you have to ask. If you need some job reference or something, you can talk to people. You have LinkedIn. You can go and just try to introduce yourself, chat with them, just to say that if you have 2 minutes, let's chat. And yeah, don't feel shy to send connection to anyone. You can send connection to me as well. I accept everyone's connection. And if you see that if I am posting anything, or if I'm doing something interesting, and you are also looking into it, for example, technical support, if you want to come and join SOTI, and if you want to do any technical support job or something, and if you want some guidance, like how to crack the interview or something, you should be feeling free to contact me or any other person whom you see like as a mentor or something, who can help you out. So yeah, that's all from my end.
Thank you, Jayashree. And I know that specifically from the Indian continent, letting a daughter, a girl, go out is a huge decision for the entire family. So, coming over here, you had to face a lot of challenges, and then coming and settling down. I remember the first time when I came to Canada, right? It was first time away from family. That homesickness is so severe that it's very difficult. So thank you for sharing. We'll come back to you. And I wanted to say when I was saying when you said, Ayo, that you're very spiritual. We need to be. We need to have faith. We need to be able to count on that one source that gives us whatever that source is. If it's our belief in God, if it's our belief in the universe, whatever that higher power is, we need to sometimes just say to ourselves that, okay, I'm doing my best, I've tried my best, now this is your decision, this is your problem, I'll keep doing what I'm doing, but you have to solve this problem. So at some point, and I'm also, I just like you, extremely spiritual. So that's another commonality, but that comes in. All of my Destination CEO students will tell you, Meena, God bless you. God bless you all the time. Yes. I want to bring Arvind Krishna on the platform now. Arvind recently graduated from Humber College, and he's joined Destination CEO. I'm gonna let him talk about himself. Arvind, please take the mic and tell us a bit about yourself and some of the challenges that you're currently facing since you've just graduated.
Thank you, Meena, for having me here today. I am Arvind Krishna, and I am a business intelligence analyst with over 4 years of industry and academic experience. I specialize in business intelligence, data reporting, data modeling, and cloud computing. I am passionate about solving complex BI problems and designing effective and streamlined solutions. I have a postgraduate degree in IT solutions from Humber College. In addition, I am an AWS certified solutions architect. My area of expertise is cloud analytics, cloud data warehousing, and designing reports and dashboards in Tableau and Power BI that help organizations gain insights. In my last role, I helped an organization by designing a data solution that increased the currency of the data for the sales department from 1 month down to almost real time. We did this by creating new ETL pipelines for the organization and writing more optimized queries. So the reason I specialized into cloud computing after after I did my ITS in Humber is because during my capstone project where I was implementing this data warehousing project, I realized that for companies, a lot of times cost really isn't as much of a problem as actually getting the data in real time and extremely fast and accurate data. So I thought of cloud computing as, hey, here's a resource that's almost limitless, and you can create really complex ETL pipelines that can take on spikes of loads. It can take on thousands of users down to tens of users, and you pay only what you use for. So I decided I'm going to learn all about it, and I spent the first month learning all the fundamentals, and then I told myself I'm going to attempt the certification exam by preparing for just 1 week. So my exam was on 12th, and I started on 5th, so that's 7 days. And I cleared my exam last night. I think I told you, Meena.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And in terms of my journey so far, when I came to Canada, I immediately fell in love with the place. Like the scenery, the people, the food. It's all your home is here and then some, right? So it was like it was really fantastic in the beginning, but as my course progressed and as my workload started getting higher, and I was working 2 part-time jobs, so it was really hectic along with the projects and all the course workload. I'm sure everybody here relates to that because I'm sure pretty much all of them are from Humber, but it was good. A huge shout out to Pawandeep as well as Bill Wright. Excellent professors.
We all love Bill Wright, right?
Yes, definitely. And also, my challenges were mostly personal. So what happened to me was, like at the end of my 3rd semester, like 1 day before my exam started. So it was on a Wednesday. I have 2 exams on Thursday, and I got the news that my dad passed away on Wednesday evening. So I went in the next day. I wrote both the exams, and I passed. So then I told myself, if I can get through, and this I was thinking this later throughout the course, if I can get through something like this, I'll be just fine. Like I know I have the mental fortitude to get through emotional stuff. I know I have the mental fortitude to work through complicated projects. So I'll be fine. And so here I am today. The two pieces of advice I have for people who are international students especially is, first is practice and discipline. So when you're looking for jobs, it's not a part-time thing that you wake up, you do 2 hours of LinkedIn in the morning and then you're done. No, finding a job is your job. And also, don't give up. Do not give up. You have come this far. You have struggled and you have completed your course. That's the hard part. You've done the hard part. Now is when you're supposed to enjoy it. So you owe it to yourself to continue and find the role that you're ideally suited for, find the role that you like, and then enjoy it.
Thank you, Arvind. Thank you for sharing that. I know it was difficult, but sometimes we feel that when students don't come, and I'm talking as a faculty. I remember when Arvind reached out to me and said, I want to join Destination CEO. And I said to him, you just graduated. You learned everything from me that was to learn or be learned. You're ready to, attack the market. At that point, I didn't know. And his insistence, like, no, I need to. I didn't know where that was coming from. And I recently found out. So once again, sincere condolences. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you that you've come this far. And I know that any employer that hires you will find themselves a solid gem. So your destination, your career destiny is very, very close. Um, we have 15 minutes, and I'd like to open it up to our viewers and ask them if you have any questions that like to ask the panelists. Please post it on the chat. But I'd like to go back to everybody individually and ask you for what was one of your biggest barrier during either the start of your career. Mind you, right now, a lot of international students have just graduated. Um, and right now, it's not just the international students that have graduated and that are here watching you, but we have a worldwide presence. Suicide rates of new grads have gone up huge because they've invested so much in their education, but they are because of the pandemic, worldwide pandemic, they're unable to find a job, or the motivation or the inspiration to getting up to look for a job. It's quite bleak. So I'd like to ask each and every one of you to share a little bit about a barrier that you face. How did you overcome? One advice that you like to give every new grad, be it international or otherwise, out there to empower them, because at the end of the day, this is our empowerment week, and our special segment is for international students and new grads. So Ayo, let me start with you. One of the biggest barrier that you faced, how did you overcome it, and what advice would you have for all the new grads who are struggling to empower or motivate themselves to move up?
Okay. Thanks, Mina. First and foremost, you're not the only one that thinks I'm shy. People think I am, so that's not just you. Um, then, since I tend to be very quick with my answers, I'll probably be able to give you two of the biggest challenges that I think I faced so far. The first one would be that when I got my first job, I really didn't understand the system that well, because coming back from home, there's this loyalty to companies. Once you get a job, you want to be there till you retire. But I didn't understand that here it's kind of different. Sometimes you have to really move around to move up. So I was kind of stuck in my first role. And this is the advice that I probably would have for international students or whoever, wherever you are in life. And I think it's very important to surround yourself with very good friends. Mina knows my friends. I have very great friends that I actually made and met at Umber, and they were inspirations. When you see them surmounting the same problem that you have, you feel encouraged. So that really helped. They moved on. One of us moved on, and I was like, okay, if this person can do it, I can do it also. And I started, paying full attention. Just like Arvind said, finding a job is a job in itself, and I took it seriously. And then I moved on from my first role. So yeah, very important. Surround yourself with good friends. Um, um, and if you're lucky, great friends. So the other one that I would also like to share is that Arvind also said something about never giving up, which is very true. I like to use this storyline. It's like trying to get a lady's attention. If you're a man who's interested in ladies, it's the same thing with a job, right? There are so many suitors for that role, and there are so many suitors for the lady. You have to bring your best self forward. Mina talked about me marketing myself and stuff like that. She might be correct in that sense, because sometimes I'm kind of reserved to the point that I don't like to flaunt what I think I can do. Usually want my works to speak for itself. So it's usually hard to meet somebody for the first time and start, blowing your trumpet. But sometimes you may have to do it to get that job or to get that woman, as the case may be. And you also have to understand that the woman has so many suitors, right? So, and there are times that a woman says no to you, not because something is wrong with you, but just because their attention is somewhere else, or maybe they're just not noticing the best thing about you. So the same thing also applies to employers. They would say no to you. It's not that you're not capable. It's not that you're not, good for the role. It's just that for whatever reasons, it's just your interest and their interest aren't matching at that point in time. And that what that says to you is to move on to the next person. You don't have to, lose your self-integrity, your self-respect, your self-confidence, and say, oh my God, nobody wants me. No, it doesn't work that way. Just keep moving on. There's always someone somewhere who wants you and who needs your skills.
Thank you. That's beautifully said. And one thing I have to say, I saw in comment that when Arvind started introducing himself with this credible introduction, I saw all of your faces light up to a memory that you all had to practice that too.
Yeah, the elevator speech.
Yes. Thank you. Pawan, moving on to you. So same question as what was one of the biggest barriers that you had to face and how did you overcome it? Let's empower our people.
So one of the things that I really struggled with was asking for help. I was, I shouldn't say scared, but I didn't know how to ask for help because before that point, I had managed to do everything on my own and figured everything out, went through a lot of difficult times and managed to come out of it. So I was like, I can take care of a lot of things on my own, so I don't need anyone's help. But it's okay to ask for help. And when I met you and asked you to coach me, to mentor me, that I could really see the results. The things that we were able to accomplish in 2 weeks, it would have taken me months to accomplish that. So thank you for that. And that's one thing that I would like to share with all the new grads and international students. That's okay to ask for help. The other thing that I would like to add is always have the will to learn new things. The IT world especially is changing so rapidly that the skills and the techniques that you have today may not be suitable for doing the jobs that might come tomorrow. So always stay hungry, keep learning new things. The will to learn new things is a skill that a lot of hiring managers are looking for. So if you can demonstrate that, like Arvind did, like after he finished his program, he studied by himself and managed to clear the AWS certification. So congratulations, Arvind,
Thank you.
of having that zeal of constantly learning. And I'm sure any organization would be lucky to have you. So thanks.
Thank you. Really kind words coming from my current mentor at Destination CEO.
How amazing is that? Yes, if you want a mentor like Pawan, you need to join Destination CEO. All right, let's move on. Thank you so much, Pawandeep. Ben, how would you like to share what was one of the biggest barrier that you faced and how did you overcome it?
Okay, I think over the years I kind of have different answers for this, and I'm trying to be creative as well because most of the stuff that people usually bring to the table are valid and applies to me as well as it applies to a lot of people. But it's nice to have some other things that have come up, and then I guess over the years you kind of reflect and think about things differently. And I'll bring up something that might be very relevant, and everyone has to reach this point in their life at some point in time. It's basically this whole existential problem, the state of mind that you want to be in, where you know where you want to be and you have a purpose and everything is sorted out in your mind. Because I believe that discipline and willpower and all of these layers over the years, like they're really stacked on top of something. And the way I look at it is in terms of like if you took Maslow's hierarchy of needs and flipped it upside down, you basically get something along the lines of the weights of desires. And then at the bottom would be the desire to self-actualize, should be the strongest desire, that on top of which you seek out jobs, you seek out opportunities, you seek everything else, you seek friends and family, so forth. But what I'm trying to say is that over the years, you do struggle to find out like who are you in society, and especially like even now, for me personally, like even out in the Middle East, if you look out into the desert in every direction, it looks like Star Wars. You know, it's just like you're just an ant or some mouse living in the desert somewhere. So you're trying to find your place in society, is what I mean. And as you get to more populated areas, it's a different kind of problem because now there are a lot of people. So was that your identity based on social contracts, or was it based on proximity of people? Like, did you have some role to play in the proximity of people, be a part of a tribe? These are very fundamental ideas, and I bring these things up because some of the best selling authors too, they really like to offer some insight into how human beings used to be many thousands of years ago. Namely, one book that I've been reading called *Sapiens*. Pretty good read as to like the evolution of different tools and different techniques. Our ability as human beings to imagine, which is something that separates us from literally every other known life form on the planet, among other things. But one of the more important things is our ability to imagine us having our dream job. No other life form, unfortunately, is capable of imagining it to that degree that we can in that fashion. The same thing applies to us. And what I mean is that all of these things contribute to actualizing and realizing. So for me, I know I'm being a little abstract here, but like, especially coming to a new society and a new world, you do find it hard to find your place in that society. Like, who are you? You might be a developer, an analyst, of course, and that's your job, but you also do feel the pain of trying to figure out like who are you in that society? What is your actual contribution? Is it to pay taxes? Is it to be? And so it's so much more. And what I mean is that there are so many layers to it, like helping your own friends, helping your students after you're succeeded to some extent, you know, having your job, you want to help other people. That also adds to your identity, and it really all piles up with family and friends and your work. It all piles up and gives you a very fruitful and very warm kind of feeling. And it is also a very power. It is one of the strongest sources of power if you really look at it. When you feel grounded, as in no one's going to be able to tell you that you belong somewhere else, or you don't belong in this group. You know, this group's only for us kind of people, or there's no such thing. You know, when you feel like you belong, then that's amazing, because you can't tell someone they belong. No matter how much you tell them, they may not accept it. And also there are a lot of people who just feel that way. They just feel out of place. It takes years to kind of come out of it, but especially when you move into a new system, right? Like even just between college, people who are actually born in that country and not just naturalized, people who are born, they might just shift jobs and they're going into a new space. So it takes time for them to kind of fit in. And my point is just that it's very important to kind of focus on looking for it. And how do you find it? What are the tools and measures? I'll be very brief. Sorry to take up this much time, but you can open up your consciousness to what's going on in the world and kind of pay attention to things very, very carefully. And do it on a regular basis. We have a lot of apps that help with either anything from mental health, meditation, all of that stuff, all the way to good news, like good news, whether it's religion, whether it's actual news, hopefully not bad news, but just news. Just keep yourself up to date and have that full range in play. It gives you a very good perspective on where the world is at, you know. And like even my friend here who mentioned he lost a family member, it really brings a deeper perspective into the lengths people have to go to secure a job when they're looking for one, and how far they have to push themselves. But deep within that space, they draw from the source of identity and power that is really based on our own like understanding of our own existence. And that's why I say it's an existential problem at the very core of it, from a psychological standpoint. That is the cause of a lot of depression, suicides, a lot of people who lose touch of like the grounded aspect of reality. And a lot of times you can find it in friends and family. That would be the first place to go to, because they are a reflection of who you are. And if you just set yourself up with a whole bunch, like having a room filled with mirrors all pointed at you, very narcissistic, I know, but it's just for you to identify who you are, and that's the first place you could start. But beyond that, the outer circle is your professional circle and so forth. and building those and keeping rich experiences also reinforces the nature of how grounded you are. Anyway, I'll conclude with never give up, guys. So just keep it up there. But sorry for being a little abstract today with my thing. I just felt like it's important to talk
Today,
about these sometimes. Yeah.
it is. It is. And because we're almost out of time, I do want to bring Jeshri on. I know that some of you have to go because your lunch hour is over. I want to thank you all. But Jeshri, if you can stay for a minute, what was one of those major aha moments, and how did you, how did you overcome that barrier that you face? Probably from a woman's perspective, in a male-dominated, um, um, in a male-dominated occupation.
Yeah, thanks, Meena. So one of my challenge was, as Meena said, like letting a girl child to go abroad and study. It's a big huge thing, in especially from the family I come from. I'm the first child. I'm the first girl child or a first child to come outside my own city. Not a single person from my family, they did not even cross the city. So forget about crossing the border of the country. So I'm the first one. So I'm very close with my family. So it was a big challenge for me to, not to miss my family back home and to enjoy all the things just on the video camera, on WhatsApp videos and everything. It was a big challenging thing for me. But yes, at the end, my final goal was, that is what I decided. That is what I wanted to do always. So for me, it was like not to focus on the emotional side, think with your brain, not with your heart. It is true that you should follow your heart, but sometimes you have to be, strong enough to face any challenges you come across, irrespective of what people will think and what people will say. It doesn't matter to you. It should only matter what you want. That's all. And the second thing I would say, never give up. You have come up this much, and the most challenging part is to complete your education over here. That is the biggest challenge, because everyone know that the back home, especially in India, we do not have that much strict professors, that much, we can just copy paste everything from the internet. No one is going to caught you for the plagiarism. But in this country, the biggest thing is plagiarism. So that is the first thing I would say. Never cheat, never do anything. Be honest to yourself, and um, yeah, and that's all from my end. Just never give up, I would say.
I guess that is the common theme. Thank you so much, Jeshri. That's the common theme. Never give up, believe in yourself, and get to know who you really are at the core, and surround yourself, like I said, surround yourself with great friends. And, you know, it, somebody needs to start. So I started this community, and it, I need the village. I have tons and tons of people, but I need more of you to come to us, to come to Destination CEO, so that we can grow this village of helping, of empowerment, of creating tomorrow's leaders and helping those leaders to move forward. You guys are all young, and journeys continue. Today you're here, tomorrow you might be somewhere else. Today you may be a job seeker, tomorrow you could be the employer. And I know one thing that I'm so grateful to Humber for, giving me the opportunity to work with all of you, to feel this, to feel the pain that you guys felt during school, and to be a part of each and every one of your journey. So before we go, I know we don't have a lot of questions, but I would like Arvind to ask a question from our esteemed panelists. Arvind, as an international student who has just graduated, what is one of your biggest barrier, and what advice would you like, or rather, um, ask that biggest barrier question, and what's something that you're doing to overcome, and perhaps get advice from your seniors, if they can. Arvind, are you there?
Yes. Sorry, I was on mute. So the
Yes.
first thing I see a lot of students doing is having a victim mindset. So especially now with them graduating during COVID, what's happening is they think, okay, this is the worst job market we've had in 30 years. We have people with 7 years and 10 years of experience
I'm sorry,
applying for
guys.
the.
Is this my internet? Are you able to hear him?
Yeah.
Yes, we can. It must be your internet.
Okay.
You're also looking blurry though and frozen.
Anyways, for continuing for people who are watching, so um, having the victim mindset wherein they are like, this is the worst job market we've had in 30 years. Uh, there's no, I'm competing against people who are much more experienced than I am, and they give up. So they think, okay, you know what? I think I'll wait for an opportune time uh, for the job market to get better. Don't do that. Um, the job market has always been tough, and it's always going to be tough. Uh, I know you this COVID has put everything to the wayside, but get it done regardless. Like you are able to do it. Like you have come through so much in life um, that this is just another small obstacle compared to the ones you've overcome already. And that's the one piece of advice I'd like to give people.
I'm sorry, guys. I think my net fluctuated and I lost. Arvind, were you able to ask a question?
He's
Yes,
about to. He just shared his advice for other international students. So I guess
yes.
he wants to
And
ask his question next.
my question to Pavandeep is, so when you agreed to mentor me, you saw that I was lacking in confidence, and how do you think international students uh, who are not confident, who are in a new country, they're in a new culture, how do you think they should be they can build up their confidence when they attend interviews, when they talk to people?
Um, the easiest way is to practice, lots and lots of it. There's no substitute for hard work. Like you mentioned, that it has always been a tough job market, and you always have to compete with a lot of other people who might be going for the same position. So if you are willing to put in extra work more than the others, then you would be definitely getting that job. And there's no other shortcut. You have to practice, you have to put in the hours, you have to work hard. Um, you can reach out to the people who are working in the industry, get their feedback, get the knowledge from them, and then utilize those learnings into maybe your improve your elevator pitch, improve your interview skills, learn from them, put in the hours, practice, and that's how you will get the confidence.
Yep, perfect answer.
Anybody
That's
else like to
I think
add that?
that's precisely what Pawandeep has been urging me to do throughout my time at Destination CEO, which I wholeheartedly recommend everybody. Mina is simply awesome. If you guys need some advice, if you guys need help, please contact her. She's always willing, even though her plate is 200% full. That's her default mode. She will still make time for you.
But I'd like to ask everybody else on the panel something on confidence. Would you like to add to what Pavandeep just said?
If I may, maybe this is not necessarily to like boost anybody's confidence, but it's probably to give you a kind of mentality and mindset that might then result in boosting your confidence. I know it's COVID time, but if it helps, I want people to understand that first and foremost, the fact that you chose IT gives you a leg up. You don't have to be in the office. A lot of roles online now are going remote. There are so many roles. So even though there is COVID, I can guarantee you that most IT companies are still working, are still recruiting, are still expanding and don't require you to come to the office. So don't just, forget the whole idea of, trying to get a job because you think COVID is going on. There are still roles being published and they are mostly remote, so you can still get a job. The other thing that I also want to say is that Power and Deep said that there's no substitute for hard work. That is 1000% correct. You have to work hard. And when I say work hard, I mean you have to perfect your skills. You have to own your skills. You have to feel comfortable at the level of your expertise. And what that does to you is that either you like it or not results in boosting your confidence a little bit more. Because now you're like, okay, yeah, I think I can do this. I think I can do that. And when you do that, also, what you also have to have in mind is that when you're looking for a job, I think this might help. I mean, there's also, please understand one thing: there's no white and black way to approach situations in life. People approach it in different ways, and it works in different ways for them. So, having said that, one of the ways that I might suggest is that when you're looking for a job, don't have an emotional relationship with a company that you haven't been employed into at the very start. Be free to apply to, if you can, again, I will quote what Arvind said, looking for a job is a job in itself. If you can, apply to 50, 60. Of course, first and foremost, ensure that you have your resumes well vetted by, people like Mina and probably your mentors to ensure that you're putting forward the right thing. And once you do that, apply to as many as you can. And then once you get the opportunities that come from that, that's when you take that seriously and then try to do your best to be better than the competition. But the first thing is, spread your net wide. And then once you get that, oh, can I have a phone conversation with you to discuss the resume you submitted? Then you really focus and then try to get the best out of it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like I said, then you keep doing the same thing. And I guarantee you at some point, if you don't give up, something's going to work out.
Thank you, Aya. That's brilliant. Jayashree, Ben, do you guys want to add to confidence?
I would like to add one thing. As
Please.
Arvind said, he was studying for 1 week AWS certificate. I know that how difficult it is to clear that certificate in 1 week. I cannot even imagine. It shows his dedication, his discipline, and his hard work. As we all know, this is the COVID time. It is not easy for anyone. It is not easy for us as well to keep our own existing job in our hand. It's very difficult. It's very challenging market. Competition is very high. But I would say use this time as plus point. Use it for doing some certification, learning some new things, to brush up your skills. So I never got this type of chance because I graduated in 10 days. I had to report into this current job. So I did not.
You're complaining?
No, I'm not complaining. I'm not
Just
complaining. But I did not get that type of liberty, I must say. But I did utilize the 10 days to brush up my skills as to be a good technical support agent. So as I was not knowing anything about technical support, I did practice a lot in that 10 days. So I would say utilize that time. You will study something, you will read something. Knowledge is never going to waste. You will be gaining something out of it. So I would say be positive. Don't lose hope. That's all.
Thank you, Jayashree. And Ben, would you like to wrap up with one final comment?
Sure.
But a very straightforward comment and not a vague one.
Sure, yeah. Fail a lot. Force yourself to fail a lot, fail faster. It's a standard entrepreneurial advice. Gives you the best confidence ever because once you've failed in every possible way, you become fearless. Then you can just approach a situation, okay, if this happens, that's going to happen. If this happens, that's going to happen. You kind of know. Along the way, some of the things like AO has mentioned, like don't get emotionally attached. I think that applies generally to the task at hand, especially if you're approaching life like again, there are different schools of philosophy. I don't want to go into that, but at least in terms of just approaching situations, it's good to try and keep trying. The whole never give up is tied to the fact that you're going to be failing a lot. And every failure is adding to your confidence as you move forward. Now, with proper advice, let me say that you do need a mentor to kind of tell you that, hey, this is what you're doing wrong, try this in this direction, so that you're advised in the right direction. Because you could also potentially get very depressed if you fail a lot, right? Thinking that there's something wrong with you. But trust me, most of it you could live in that school of thought, or you could just be happy in the state of mind that whatever's wrong is wrong with the world. It's not my problem. What I need to do is fix my own stuff and make myself perfect. If COVID's going on, if whatever's going on, I'm going to find more ways to make myself perfect for my own well-being. So yeah, that's it basically. Yeah, I just wanted to say that if you approach a lot of failures and you keep trying and keep failing, listen, like you might just succeed on the first try, but the whole point is that every step forward in the right direction with the right amount of advice will allow you to kind of build that and boost that confidence. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
So Ben, there's somebody on the show watching you, a very special person, and would love to give a shout out to her.
For sure, yeah. My wife, and it's on call. She's been trying to get on the DCO program, and yeah, it's a good ride. Well, hey, hello.
There's a commonality between Ben and Arvind, where Arvind is from Hyderabad, where I was born, in South India, and Ben's wife Annette is also in Hyderabad. So hi Annette, thank you for supporting us and being on the show. Oh, there you go. Thank you, panelists.
Finally, a fellow biryani lover.
I know.
By the way, Meena, even I'm from Hyderabad.
Oh,
really? Okay.
There's more commonality.
Representing today.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining. This was absolutely brilliant. As you can see from the comments, there have been a lot of comments thanking you for coming. I think the Empowerment Week just became so much more empowering with having your stories, with having your guidance, with having those tips that you shared. And, and one thing I'd like to request that if you guys have a position within your organization for Arvind, please connect with him, or Arvind, please connect with them, because they're all from your field and they're all Humber grads. And again, a big shout out to Humber College. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of such amazing journeys, enriching my own knowledge, my own passion. And I'm asking to all of those employers out there that are looking to hire tech talent, specifically international students, please connect with me. Destination CEO has a dream. I have a dream to have a program specifically designed for international students, where I'm able to connect them with all of you hiring out there. But, like any business, this business requires funding. And at this time, when I used to work full-time or 3 jobs, I used to put 75% of my own earnings in running Destination CEO. And stories you're all hearing. But right now, I'm not. So I need your support. If you want to sponsor an international student, a new grad, and would like to sponsor them through this journey, please reach out. So once again, thank you all for being a part of this show. Like I said, I don't have words to express my thoughts. We did go over time, so I really appreciate you being here. Everybody's learned a lot. Really appreciate it. Have a fantastic day ahead. And hopefully we'll have you back again for more.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you
so much.
Have a great day.
Take care. Bye. Bye. You too. action, networking, taking it above, bringing value to the conversations that you're having.
As we climb in our journey and we learn, to share that learning with others so that we grow as a community.
Inclusion plays a part in terms of now garnering all those experiences together and creating a cohesive enough team to produce strong performance.
Be visible, comment about it, reach out,